It's breaking down.
Tonight we change the future.
Eddie? I'm about to be born. Am I breaking timeline rules by being here?
I wasn't gonna say much, but it's fine.
You're fine.
Flash, flash, flash. You didn't think I was gonna miss how this all turns out, did ya? Surrender, Flash.
For the last 9 years, I have watched the people I love suffer and die. My wife is about to give birth to our child. I am trying to save the timeline and Eddie's life. Everybody down!
Then you need to believe in the impossible.
Hey there, kid. Eddie, wait! Barry's life is mine!
Any last words?
I've got 3. Run, Barry. Run.
Tell me what to do.
Accept our power. And end the legacy of Barry Allen forever.
Welcome back, everyone. The Flash series finale is happening. They just released a trailer. A lot of you have been asking for me to do a video for the ending, so I'll explain what's going on in case you tuned out years ago, because the show's been going on for almost 10 years. But big reminder, this is the end of The Flash, like the very end of the TV show. I'll also explain what's going on with the Flash movie, because I know a lot of you are holding out hope that Grant Gustin was lying about being in the actual movie, having a cameo scene, maybe some surprise crossovers happening in the future. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. But in the trailer, you can see the Flash fighting pretty much every single one of his biggest, most iconic villains from previous seasons. The Harrison Wells Reverse Flash. They also just had the original Matt Letscher Flash on the show recently. I'll explain that twist because it also paid off a moment from the very first episode in a couple of finales in earlier seasons where he kept going back to the night that his mother died and seeing other versions of himself in that moment. Teddy Sears is back as Zoom, Savitar is back, and they're finally doing Eddie Thawne as a version of Cobalt Blue from the comics, which fans have been making theories about since the end of Flash Season 1. Like, this has been around for almost 10 years. Of all the fan theories that they've ever tried to pay off, this is probably the longest running one that they've paid off. Grant Gustin also revealed how the ending of The Flash changed, and it turns out that the original ending for the show that he had wanted was actually my theory that I came up with back during, I think, like Season 2 or Season 3. It was a long time ago. My original theory in the ending that Grant Gustin originally wanted wound up being way more hardcore than the ending that the show is going with. But at the end of the previous 2 episodes, they explained that the original Eddie Thawne, who died at the end of The Flash Season 1, sacrificing himself to get rid of Reverse Flash, had actually been reincarnated in the future year 2049, corrupted by the negative speed force and the Cobalt Blue crystal force, like he's taking in the negative speed force here, becoming a version of Cobalt Blue in this scene here. And the Cobalt Blue crystal here is meant to be a version of the blue flame Cobalt Blue uses in the comics. They just changed the Cobalt Blue backstory for the TV show. In the comics, it's Malcolm Thawne. He's meant to be like this long-lost brother to Barry Allen, so obviously the TV show explanation is quite a bit different. But the real main villain of the finale, even though you have all these villains coming back, is the Cobalt Blue force that's manipulating all these villains, like turning Eddie Thawne into Cobalt Blue, and it's the thing that brings back Reverse Flash, Savitar, and Zoom across different points in the timeline, and claims that it's existed since the dawn of time, and at least as far as it's told Barry, its goal is to wipe him from all of existence so that he never existed. So that he can't just run into another universe or hide in the Speed Force, which exists across pretty much all of space and time across all universes. The only thing they haven't revealed yet, because the Cobalt Blue Force keeps possessing people, kind of like the Blue Flame from the Cobalt Blue comics, they haven't explained if that force is actually just a person pretending to be this cosmic being the way that Savitar pretended to be the god of speed, but it was just another version of Barry. But the majority of the finale, like the fun part, is the Flash versus all of his previous villains. Like, they brought all these actors back. Pretty easy prediction to make that he'll wind up stopping them and find a way to remove the Cobalt Blue essence from Eddie Thawne, corrupting him so that he goes back to normal and he's not all crazy from being resurrected. Then find a way to trap the Cobalt Blue crystal for all time or destroy it in some way. The whole deal with the Matt Letscher Reverse Flash, the original Reverse Flash, and the scene of Barry going back to the night that his mother died again is meant to pay off the first episode, because originally in previous seasons, when he went back and he was starting to pull Flashpoint, or he was getting ready to try and do a Flashpoint, there was yet another Flash, another version of Barry from a different timeline that reached out and told him, no, don't do it, hell no. He let his mother die, and then we continued with previous seasons. So what they explained is that the Barry that told him to not pull a Flashpoint, that told him to chill out, was the current version of the Flash from season 9.
I don't understand. You saved yourself and let me kill her instead.
So it was them trying to bookend that moment by saying that Barry got a day with his parents, like he spent the entire day just hanging out with his parents without them knowing that he was their real son. It was meant to take place on the day that Reverse Flash originally killed his mother, so the whole day Reverse Flash is taunting him, messing with him, trying to savor his victory because Reverse Flash originally intended to kill the young version of Barry Allen so that he would never become Flash. But instead what Barry winds up doing is saving his younger self so that Reverse Flash can't kill him, and he kills his mother instead. So the big revelation here is that Reverse Flash originally had not intended to kill Barry's mother. That was sort of a backup plan after Barry saved himself. So in a way, it's a bit of a bootstrap paradox where the Flash is the reason why he became the Flash, because originally Reverse Flash was going to kill him before he could become the Flash. And obviously Reverse Flash got stuck there and had to turn into the Harrison Wells version of himself where you see during season 1. So like after this moment, Barry gets pulled back to the present by the Cobalt Blue Force, but this version of Matt Letcher Reverse Flash just goes on to the beginning of season 1. Like it's Reverse Flash at the beginning of his timeline meeting with Barry at the end of his timeline. The other big thing happening in the finale is that Nora came back from the future, but she's also being born in present day. Like you can see Iris West is super pregnant, about ready to pop. Carlos Valdez did say that Cisco will not come back because it was a scheduling conflict. He wanted to come back and do the finale, but he was just busy filming something else and couldn't do that. And this is what Grant Gustin has said about the ending that sort of coincides with my theory from many, many years ago.
When I thought about it ending, there was a theory out there that Barry would sacrifice himself to keep the Speed Force alive and become the lightning bolt that inevitably struck him and create this full circle moment. And Eric was very opposed to the idea and really wanted to see a happy ending for Barry and Iris.
What my original theory was is that they should actually just do a version of the comic book story. It was a really small story, but it was essentially Barry Allen becoming the bolt of lightning that gave him powers in the first place. So the whole idea is that this was tied to Crisis on Infinite Earths in the comics, and Barry sacrifices himself during that comic book storyline to stop the Anti-Monitor, and he seemingly dies. But what really wound up happening is that he traveled so quickly that he turned into the bolt of lightning that originally gave him powers, becoming the Flash. So the whole idea on the TV show is that it would have been really cool for them to bookend the series where he basically creates a time loop where he becomes the bolt of lightning that originally gave him powers. So like the show season 1 to season 9 is a big loop. It was cool to find out that Grant Gustin also wanted that ending for a while. But the current Flash showrunner said that they changed that. They wanted to give him a happy ending. I think just because they wanted a happy episode of TV for a series finale. I don't know if that's better. You can decide. Like, you watch and you decide whether or not you wanted the more hardcore ending or the happier ending. So do not expect him to die at the end of the finale. Grant Gustin did say that he would always be happy to come back and do cameo scenes and crossovers as his version of The Flash in other TV shows or movies. And speaking of movie cameos, the Flash movie is coming. There's a bunch of multiverse cameos in that movie. A lot of people wondering, would he have a cameo in the film? He claims that he doesn't, but I'm really hoping that Grant Gustin is just lying about that, and there'll be a big surprise, and he will actually be in the movie in some way.
No. Yeah, there's been a lot of rumors out there for a long time, and no one's like come out directly and asked me, like, ever, like, you know, on the record.
The rumor right now, if it's to be believed, is that Teddy Sears did have a cameo scene. Like, there is a cameo from the Flash CW TV show, but it's Teddy Sears, and he's actually playing a version of Jay Garrick, not a version of Hunter Zolomon Zoom. Which seems like the weirdest cameo to go for. Like, if you were going to have a Flash CW cameo scene, why wouldn't you go for the Grant Gustin version of the Flash, just to pay off the crossover from Crisis on Infinite Earths when Ezra Miller came from the Justice League universe to cross over? So really holding out hope for that. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I can't say whether or not he's actually in there or he's not in there. Hopefully they'll find some multiverse way for him to have a cameo scene in one of James Gunn's upcoming rebooted DC movies, because obviously there'll be like another 10, 20, 50 years of DC movies. Grant Gustin could show up at any point during that, the same way that John Wesley Shipp came back from the 90s. What I'll probably do is I'll make a video for the finale after it airs next week, so be sure to check out the finale, even if you've tuned out for years. Like, if you haven't watched The Flash since like season 3, just go ahead and watch the finale because it is the last episode ever. I've got a bunch of other videos I'm working on. They just dropped some more Flash movie trailers, so of course I'll do videos for everything. Everyone click here for my brand new Flash movie trailer and Easter eggs, and click here for that new Blue Beetle trailer and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.